We've chosen to make one of our home bases smack dab in the heart of Toronto, downtown, next to the Sky Dome with that incredible vista to the CN Tower. And this is a primary and exclusive peek into Colin and Justin's pad.
We've had this condo for 3.5 years, and when we moved in here, it was a rather strange place to be because it didn't really look like a modern condo. It was all brown, there was crown moulding everywhere, there was thick brown carpet, brown leather furniture. You know, it was the worst face of the Canadian male bachelor. Sorry guys. So the first thing we did was actually strip away all of the fancy details, all of the extras that had been added, because we wanted this to be quite a bleak, quite a bare modern space. So we painted it all white. We've got a simple black timber floor. And my favourite thing in here is the fact that we actually removed all the paint from the pillars here and we varnished the concrete so it looks really, really industrial.
Now this is a fairly big condo, it's 16,500 square feet. It was designed initially as a 3-bedroom apartment. We've actually now only got 1 bedroom because the space here was separated by a wall which ran from that pillar to here with a bedroom on that side and a bedroom on this side. But we figured it made more sense to have a big hospitality area, a big dining room so that we can entertain lots of people. And at the end of the day, we're more likely to have people coming for dinner than we are to have guests overnight. So hey presto, the wall comes down and a big dining room opens up.
You know, the great thing about design now is that you actually don't have to be a modernist, you don't have to be a traditionalist, you can mix and match different styles to create something individual. Here in this condo, you know, you expect it to be really modern, really cutting edge, but we decided to kick all that out and actually add a really traditional Canadian dining chair. Now this is a Windsor chair from the Windsor workshop, made by the Mennonites, and normally they're in a beautiful warm tone of oak, beautifully polished and presented to you lovely Canadians, because you love your wood out there, don't you? I think we actually scared the Mennonites, however, because we asked them to actually spray paint the chairs black so to give them a slightly more modern inclination. And actually, I think they went off and had a little committee meeting. Thought, yeah, let's have a powwow. Okay, let's do it for Colin and Justin. They produced the goods, and these chairs, honestly, they are so comfortable. And I think that's actually the only downside. Maybe they're too comfortable because people do tend to overstay their welcome, if you know what I mean.
Now this is our master bedroom. Previously it was all caramel tones and really dark and lots of black. Now we used a paper which we absolutely love. It's by Graham and Brown and it's a gorgeous soft grey washy and black tartan. And every time we walk in here, we're instantly transported back to the hills and the glens in bonny Scotland. Now, these I love. They're not real antlers, so no elks were actually harmed in the making of them. These are actually cast resin. They were made by a company called Canadian Antler Design. So when you buy these, you have 2 options. One is a finish that looks like real horn, and the second one, just as horny, is actually sun-bleached, as if they've been lying out in the glens in Scotland. I think they're a really lovely and very unusual inclusion. The good thing about a chandelier either side of the bed as well means that you don't take up any of your nightstand space, but you don't have a lamp base there, so you can dress with, I don't know, bowls and clocks and all your bedtime paraphernalia. And I think one of the things that really makes you feel that it's soft and indulgent is the big padded headboard. We designed that headboard and finished it off with nickel trim buttoning down the sides here. It's made of pure white linen. Had that produced by another Canadian company, N-Shape Design. And I love the deep button French tufting. It's really elegant. Now, one of my design heroes is Terence Conran, legendary retailer and designer across the globe. Now, he does a fantastic chair. It's very expensive, so we were a bit naughty. We had our fantastic upholsterer create something for us, inspired by, not a copy, but inspired by the lines of the recent Terence Conran home collection. It's so incredibly comfortable, and I think any good bedroom shouldn't just have a bed. There should be somewhere to sit at the end of a day with a glass of wine, or somewhere in the morning to sit and consider the day ahead before bursting out the bedroom door. Essentially for me, what a bedroom needs to do is serve a basic purpose. It should relax you at any time of the day. The final finishing detail atop the black ebony floor are these rugs. Now we had these rugs manufactured by a fantastic Toronto-based company called Millennia, and we sketched out the pattern of what we wanted. We found 2 contrasting colours with exactly the same pile depth, which means that you have them turned into carpets which look like original handmade rugs, which I guess in actual fact they are.
Now, just because you live in a condo doesn't mean that you have to be cookie cutter, because you can make your space truly individual if you just think about it. Now, this was a solid wall before, a big blocky wall right in the middle of the room, actually quite ugly. But where do we tap around, we discovered that it's actually an L shape of concrete, which allowed us to take out this section, put these shelves in, and suddenly an ugly wall has become a very smart storage system. Ah, here he is, the boy in the bubble. You know, this is our window on the world. You know, it's a fantastic view across Toronto. We can see from Midtown, you can see the Sheraton Hotel up there, all the way to Toronto Island Airport, and everything in between. This view changes as the day changes, it changes as the light changes, and it's always moving as well. I quite like the fact that we can see the motorway. There's energy there, there are people, you know, it just feels very, very alive. There's a lot going on, okay, so think about that. And then imagine that that's our decor. That's our feature wall, if you like. And if you look round, you can see in the rest of the apartment that it's actually quite plain, you know. So sometimes you just got to let the view speak for itself.
Now guys, here's a conundrum for you. How do you turn an old kitchen into a flat screen television like this? Well, let me just tell you. This is the plan. When Colin and I bought this condo several years ago, the kitchen that was here was brown and oak. Big, chunky, brown granite counters, oak doors, and it was a very, very dark space. So we thought, rather than just take it out and put it in a dumpster, let's see if we can raise some money. So we had it taken apart and we sold it on Craigslist for $5,000, which was brilliant. And the people that bought it very, very carefully disassembled it and took it away and left a perfect space for us to install this brand new white kitchen. Now the kitchen for me is the heart of the home, and we love this condo. It makes us feel so centered and so at home. And we wanted something that looked really streamlined. Because the kitchen is effectively beside or in the living room, we didn't want it to jump out. So we've gone for something that looks more like a bar. Everything's here. We've got a huge big fridge over this side here. Tons of wine in there, not very much food. Bags of cupboards which we've taken up to the ceiling line to make the space feel even taller. Big fridge freezer over here with pretty much nothing over and above ice cream. And this is one of my favourite things, a Fisher and Paykel drawer dishwasher. Fits in perfectly there, doesn't go down to the floor because we've got this whole island unit, almost as if it's floating. We've actually had these gorgeous legs made. Timber which has been turned and lacquered black to match the floor and all the other detailing. Now for me, this is a great kitchen to cook in, but it doesn't overpower the space. There's bags of everything that we need, tons and tons of storage, and the Carrara grey marble just sweeping across the space in one monolithic great big slab makes me feel very, very taken care of and very indulged.
You know, I'll say it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. The secret to a great room is great storage, a place for everything and everything in its place. Now, anything that we don't want to see, we've actually got hidden away. You know, there's plenty of cupboard space in this condo. We're very, very fortunate. But everything else, you know, the things that you want to share with people, I like getting books out, ceramics, you know, little kind of like sci-fi objects like that as well. You know, showcase them, get them out on your shelves and make that the decor in your space. You know, I think this unit here, this was custom made. You know, and I think it just adds a wonderful, slightly kind of like Bauhaus-inspired decor to this room, but gives us space to showcase some of our nicest pieces. Now, this wonderful little squirrel is by Jonathan Adler, and he's very famous because during the Toronto earthquake of 2010, yes, that major event, this little fellow here shook so much that he dropped his nuts. And trust me, so did we.
Now, there's a lot of space still to fill in this apartment, and we'll do it when we're good and ready. We decided not to rush at it and just buy things to fill. So every single piece that we have has been chosen exclusively and personally by us to fit perfectly in the apartment. This, for example, is one of my favourites, and you mightn't expect to find something like an old farm bench in a modern condo, but I think it works really, really well. This also is an elongated milking stool, and I love that whole kind of industrial retro thing. It works really, really nicely. It's a great foil for all the modern inclusions. Now, we went large on this sofa, a brilliant Toronto company called Silva. Now, we gave them a drawing of the sofa that we wanted. I guess it's a kind of a classic Italian style. It's very, very low slung, really yielding foam and feather-filled cushions, bags of space for all our friends to chill out. And I think essentially for me, this is what our condo is about. Not having too many things, but just having enough of the right things rather than going overboard and rushing to finish. I guess if you come back here in another year's time, you'll see more, because when we find the right things, we'll add them, but not until then. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed having a peek around our pad as much as we enjoy actually living here. It is a work in progress. We will change it as time unravels, but that's our decorating mantra. It's all about seasonal adjustment and adding bits when and where you're ready.
Absolutely, and remember, you can find us in the home section of the Toronto Star every Saturday. And remember the Colin and Justin motto. If you've enjoyed it, tell your friends.
And maybe if you're very good, the next time we do a wee show around, we'll take you all the way to our place in Glasgow, yeah? Hang about, stick with us, and see how we live back home in Scotland.